Namaste. I am Vibhuti Jha, and this is Jaipur Dialogue USA. Welcome to the show. As always, please like, subscribe, and support our channel. Give your feedback, and we value to look forward to hearing from you. Now, today, I wanted to talk about a rather heroic and historic event when Tulsi Gabbard and Kash Patel testified in the Senate hearing for their confirmation for their positions that Mr. Trump has nominated them for. Tulsi Gabbard has been nominated for Director of National Intelligence and Kash Patel for Director of Federal Bureau of Investigation. Both of them are sensitive positions in the American Justice Department hierarchy. We know the whole story that the director of FBI is the major person who follows the Constitution and protects domestic people, domestic Americans all over the country and everywhere else in the world, Americans, as per the Constitution. And Director of National Intelligence is designed, it was established after 9/11 to coordinate the missing links in the operation of intelligence elements. Now, both of these gentlemen, both of these people have been remarkably successful in their business of running the government. Tulsi is a lieutenant colonel in the army. She's still with as a National Guard, participates in her duties, and she has done for many years since 9/11. She has highest level of clearances because she is a colonel and she has been in armed forces in combat in Iraq and other places. Kash Patel has been a trusted lieutenant of Mr. President Donald Trump. And that's why he has nominated him for the director position of FBI, which incidentally has been remarkably politicized in the American system. So much so that FBI was accused of trying to subvert Mr. Trump's election itself in more ways than one. Not exactly, but in more ways than one. Now let's talk about the hearing. What has happened is both these people are very proud Hindus. They wear their Hindu-ness on their sleeves. In her opening statement, Tulsi Gabbard proudly stated that, she is being controlled by Modi as well, along with many other names. Modi's name also came into play. And she also mentioned that Hinduism is often referred in a negative and a pejorative manner in the American politics. And she's very proud of being who she is. This was truly remarkable. And remember one thing, Tulsi Gabbard has been in the national limelight, not because she was a congresswoman for 8 years, but also for the simple reason that she fought the war. She was a soldier, a very prominent play. As yet, at the moment, she is on the National Guard and Army Reserve. So this is a very high-profile case. But the more important part is, after the second round of hearings happen, there will be voting whether to confirm her or not, or whether it will go to the whole Senate for confirmation. So at the moment, it is Judiciary Committee and the Defense Committee that is doing this hearing for purpose of confirmation. Now let's remember one thing. It is reported that many Democrats and a few Republicans have threatened not to vote for both these people in their respective position. I will talk about for Tulsi first. Tulsi evokes jealousy amongst the Democrat rank and file because there are very few candidates in Democratic Party that match the profile, the achievements, the success, and the persona and personality of Tulsi Gabbard. Very few women congressmen or leaders can match that. In addition, what has happened indeed is that Tulsi, true to her tradition, that she said that she is not a puppet of anyone, she has displayed a courage that is absolutely outstanding. She took on Kamala Harris in the 2016 presidential bid as a Democrat. Everybody knows that. And she took her down so well that till date, even in 2024 election, that memory haunted Kamala Harris, and it was talked about that she was taken down by Tulsi Gabbard. Now, what is important about that? It is important also to know that she took on Kamala Harris, a very Indian name again, and exposed her, told the truth, and demolished her candidacy. The rank and file of Democratic establishment, the rank and file of Democratic leadership and think tank, they were annoyed with her because in 2024, it has definitely impacted Kamala Harris's bid. Second, Tulsi Gabbard took on the queen of Democratic Party called Hillary Clinton. Don't ever forget that. Hillary Clinton in 2016 had launched the Russia hoax on Donald Trump in the name of opposition research. You all know that. This is the important part. Tulsi Gabbard took her on because Hillary called her a Russian asset. Now we know the story. Think about it from that perspective. Today, we know the story that the entire Russia collusion was a hoax, manipulated, and managed and paid by the Hillary Clinton campaign. So, Hillary Clinton also got exposed by Tulsi Gabbard's insistence, and she took her head on. We all know that Hillary Clinton lost, but Hillary Clinton never forgot that. The result is that in the voting that might happen after this, there will be several who will not vote. There will be several Republicans who will not vote because they owe their allegiance to the party. And the other third element is Tulsi Gabbard left Democratic Party and joined Republican Party under leadership of Donald Trump. Now that is an absolute no-no for the Democrats, and that's why they will vote against her. The question comes about why would the Republicans vote against her? Here, there is a very important matter, the Snowden matter. Edward Snowden, who was the one who leaked national secrets in utter frustration for whatever he knew was that America was doing wrong, and went and took asylum in Russia. It has really upset the American administration and intelligence apparatus because he did significant damage. And she has actually piloted a bill which didn't work out to pardon Snowden. Now, it is important for everybody to know what did she say yesterday about Snowden, because that's one thing that will hang around her neck as the albatross, because people will say that he was a traitor. What did she say? What she said was that he may have done wrong. He has clearly violated the Constitution and he has done wrong. But as part of the freedom of speech, he ought to have been encouraged to give a platform where he could have said things to the system within without being a whistleblower. The life of the whistleblower is not an easy one, because when you blow the whistle, you actually are exposing the statecraft and the state policy, and that the system doesn't accept very easily. Life of whistleblowers is never easy, and I do not know many people who have perished and died in mysterious circumstances. Edward Snowden may have probably feared, and that's what Tulsi also said, that she will not be a puppet for anyone. And she also said that things that we do wrong, and she gave a classic example of the weapons of mass destruction. Think from that perspective. So he has done things wrong, she says that. At the same time, she wants to create a system and a process whereby people like that can point out if the government is doing something heinous, wrong, and which is ultimately in the interest, not in the interest of the country. The infamous Iraq War was one such example where the issue of weapons of mass destruction was completely wrong. At that time, the Secretary of State, Colin Powell, cut such a sorry figure for having defended the entire process in the United Nations and other platforms that he completely withdrew from politics out of pure shame. This is important. Yeah, I do know one thing for sure. Statecraft requires varieties of things to be done. There's no doubt about that. The issue is the right thing or the wrong thing. And these people, and Tulsi Gabbard is standing for the dharmic and the right thing. And that's what will irk many Republicans who are in the hawkish mood of propagating war in Iraq in the past, Ukraine, where Russia has been embroiled in. Now, this is another very important part. She has been called a Russian stooge, whereas it is far from truth. She spoke for the truth and said that if America and NATO had stood by their promise, what they made to Russia, this war wouldn't have happened. Now, this matter also has been talked at length in many forums. It's not that Tulsi alone has talked about it, but the issue is very important that Tulsi is unpopular amongst the powers that be. She is hugely popular from the masses that we see. She has earned tremendous respect. Let's switch to Kash Patel. Mr. Kashyap Patel has become Kash Patel, and Kash is king in this particular hearing that he had. Two things stood out, and I'm very proud of that. One was that he entered the senator hearing room and he touched his parents' feet. Now, that was truly remarkable because touching feet in the American social cultural methodology will not be accepted as a normal activity. It is virtually bowing down and touching feet is some kind of a out of their mind experience. But in our culture, parents, children touching parents' feet to seek blessings is a very important part of our culture. It's not about humiliation. I was asked this question. Isn't it a very humiliating exercise or a patriarchal thing that children have to touch parents' feet? I said, no, it is not. Because remember, practices are established years and years ago. The sanskar was established years and years ago. In good old times, when people used to leave home, a son or daughter is leaving home, they used to touch the feet because the ways of communications were not as beautiful as they are today. So once you leave on a yatra or a journey to perform a task and a job, you touch your parents' feet for seeking blessings. And what do parents say in these occasions? This is for the audiences, for the second and third generation Americans here, Indian Americans here. They always seek blessings. And parents always say, Dirghayu Bhava, Vijay Bhava, Ayushman Bhava. May you have a long life. May you do well. Go and be victorious. And the second part, which is often not conveyed, is they put their hands on their back. Think about it from a modern perspective. When you expose your back, you are vulnerable to being stabbed. Anything can happen behind your back. So you expose your back to parents and parents alone, or those elders whom you have implicit trust and faith in. You don't bow down to everybody and anybody. And it's not actually bowing down, it is showing humility and respect. So when you bow down, the parents put their hands on your back. What does it mean? He said, I have your back. This is what is important for people to understand. Children touching parents' feet is not an act of submission or humiliation. It's an act of respect and the fact that the parents have their back. And the person is told, go ahead, do your job. Everything will be okay here. These are very simple matters, but the Americans do not know. The Western people do not know. And that's what we have to convey. So that particular act was showing his culture, upbringing, temperament, and respect for parents. And he did not fight shy of doing it in the Senate hall where he was going for, The second part, it showed up. Many people commented on that. This is also very important. This is part of our life. And we have to be very respectful of our traditions and culture. Mr. Kash Patel was remarkably firm and confident in his presentation. No, no point in time did he fail or flinch. The other element which is very important is that he also was, both these candidates have one element that they have to answer a lot. One is January 6th in case of Kash Patel, and Snowden matter in the case of Tulsi Gabbard. Let's see how it plays out after the second round of hearings and when the vote happens. But I definitely feel that both these people have done enormous good being a Hindu, being proud of their Hinduness and saying it so, without using as many words. We Indians in America are known as professionals, hardworking, in a higher median income. We are not a law and order problem anywhere, but we are being attacked. That's what is important. If these two people are confirmed, this will raise the profile in the Department of Justice and National Intelligence. This would be truly remarkable. I wish them well. I pray that they do get nominated, and I do hope that the Republican senators particularly make sure that these two do not become victim of a religious and racial bias. That would be truly sad. This is incumbent upon Republican senators to make sure that these two people are confirmed and vote in unison to confirm them whenever the vote happens. Thank you very much for watching. As I always say, truth must triumph, and both these people stand for truth. Thank you very much. Namaste.